Work can feel like a jungle full of predators and threats, but it can also be enriching if you work proactively to decrease the communication barriers blocking your progress and comfort. Today, we'll look at some communication barriers that can block our path to meaningful interactions at work, as well as some strategies to overcome them. Let's investigate 3 barriers to effective workplace communication that will reduce your potential and impact. Barrier number 1, communication etiquette breaches. One key barrier to confidence and effectiveness when you work on a team can come from etiquette breaches. Some examples of etiquette breaches include interruptions in meetings, people claiming your ideas as their own, dominating conversations where fast talkers lead the discussion without creating space and comfort for the more reflective communicators to add their input, failure to interact with full attention while someone is talking, ghosting via email, and running meetings over time. Take a moment to think about your workplace, team, or employees. What score would you give your team for their communication etiquette? And what behaviours are people inclined to breach? If you're a leader, you'll want to roll out concrete expectations for communication behaviour. Consider working with a corporate communication consultant to set up key strategies to enhance your team's communication. Barrier number 2 is excess jargon. At work, we tend to use specific jargon to define niche concepts rapidly. Jargon can be helpful because it allows professionals to exchange a code that everyone on the team understands rapidly. However, there are some negatives to jargon use, so let's check them out. Using excessive jargon can create communication barriers in teams, especially when cross-disciplinary work is required. Remember that not everyone will understand your niche words. Excess jargon can also create huge hierarchy boundaries because it operates on the exclusion principle. One study found that low-status team members tend to use jargon to signal their status and access to niche knowledge and sound exclusive. Instead of fighting to use the latest in term, focus on interpersonal connection through clarity. If you're a leader, you can permanently ban jargon altogether. Here's what a former director of the BBC did to stop his team from using jargon or speaking off topic. Greg Dyke set up a yellow card system for meetings. Team members that circled topics or used too much jargon were carded. If you're a leader wanting to reduce communication barriers, take some time to think about how your organisation trains, rewards, and reinforces ideal communication behaviours. For example, is a guidebook in place for expectations around your team's speaking tone? One principle could be jargon removal in all meetings. Are your team receiving training in effective communication? If not, consider the scope for professional development to boost their capacities in this area. Barrier number 3 operates around assumptions and bias that cause barriers in the workplace. When we share an idea at work, we always face bias impacting how our message is received. Let's consider 3 biases that you need to know, especially if you're a leader aiming to maximize team interaction. Bias number 1 is cognitive sophistication bias. Many of your team may be held back by a bias towards people on the team who appear more intelligent than them. Cognitive sophistication bias functions on the premise that people who seem intelligent are more effective at tasks, making decisions, and even leading. While this can often be the case, cognitive sophistication bias will cause interaction barriers at work if you perceive others to hold more intellectual worth than you. As a result, you may be less inclined to try for leadership roles or even share your ideas. Be mindful of cognitive sophistication bias. Bias number 2 is voice tone bias. Speakers with clear voice tone get granted more scope to communicate, lead, and guide an organisation due to the way listeners ascribe increased credibility to effective voice tone. If your voice tone is not working well, you can be held back professionally due to voice tone bias. People will engage less with your message, and you may be less likely to gain a leadership position if your voice tone is not working well for you. Like all assumptions and biases, this is unfair, but instead of feeling inhibited, the fastest way to override this bias is to work on your voice and ensure you know how to use it correctly. Bias number 3 is accent bias. Accent bias runs on the assumption that speakers of a specific accent are more capable, credible, and insightful than those that don't speak with the same pattern. For example, speakers communicating in their second language, we know from research, are more likely to be interrupted in team meetings than native speakers, regardless of their language proficiency. Have you noticed accent bias in your workplace? Accent bias causes some organisations to only appoint native speakers to leadership positions. Accent bias also poses a colossal equity and diversity malpractice. What can you do to amplify and provide a platform for your colleagues who may be affected by this bias? Many more assumptions and biases exist that can cause barriers to workplace communication, but hopefully these 3 have got you thinking about what biases may be holding you, team members, or your employees back when interacting at work. Moving smoothly through your tasks, KPIs, and goals as an employee or leader is not always up to you. Sometimes you can face unexpected communication barriers that are hard to overcome. Check this blog post to pick up more strategies to overcome 4 more communication barriers in the workplace that may be cramping your ability to showcase leadership presence at work. Each workplace is a unique ecosystem with personalities, processes, and tasks that must work in sync to get valuable outcomes. Ever want the entire roadmap to communication success? If you wish to speed up your career communication so that you can speak with more impact and effect, no matter the communication barriers you face, the High Performance Communication Audit gives you acute insight into your communication so you can strategically align your soft skills to bolster career success. The audit includes a total evaluation of your communication, followed by a personalised advocacy and support session with me so you can take it further. Check the link below to start working with me today. Remember, effective communication at work is all about overcoming barriers to your impact. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and let me know if you have any questions about career communication in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and ciao for now.